Hey Kins, Nap here. So, last few days have been pretty frustrating. Objectively, the things that have happened to me I would classify as things that would probably make most people frustrated or just generally annoyed, I suppose. But my feelings on those things started to kind of go from that initial reaction to just that's life, y'all. I gotta just deal with it, and now I'm pretty neutral. Which is funny because my mental state for the last month of July has been very up and mostly down. Actually, very, very down. I kind of explained it some other video that I don't know if I'm ever gonna actually release because it's actually kind of private and personal because it delves into some dark places, but whatever. We gotta talk about what happened the last few days. That's on the itinerary for this video, and also my feelings on them at the end, which I guess I already kind of spoiled. But whatever. So it started off when I went on a funny little family trip to Bali, and this will basically be the equivalent of me showing my friends and family a PowerPoint presentation of what happened in my holiday. This video will not be entertaining. It'll just the main point of it is just me venting about what happened. So I had to go to the airport by myself. First time doing that. Walked around the entire place. Had to procrastinate for a while. I'm sure many who travel had a slap in the face of just how boring and monotonous it all is to wait for your airplane to come. And of course, my flight got delayed by an hour, so I had to wait even more. Though I wasn't really that annoyed or frustrated, because first of all, I was alone. I could do whatever I wanted. Usually, I was actually kind of thinking about doing some sort of experiment where I judged how fun it would be if I was alone compared to if I was with my family, because I had a suspicion that they were overly controlling and I actually had zero freedom. But yeah, in the airport, I was just walking around, looking at stuff, and I do generally love exploration, which is something that if I was forced to be with my family, I wouldn't be allowed to do. So I guess that's a plus. But anywho, airplane came, I went over there, met with my siblings, fun as always. Had a talk about government conspiracies, who cares? The next morning, we were only there for like 3 days, and those 3 days included going to and from the airport. And when you're at the airport, you're gonna be there the entire day. So in reality, we were only there for one day. But the main day we were there, we went to the beach, a classic time, and it was fun. I would classify that time that we went to the beach was fun. I had childhood memories of sitting at the beach and letting the wave, like my favorite thing to do at the beach is just sit right where the waves are and let them hit me over and over again, because it's really an experience special to the beach. Shit thing is, there's sand everywhere. Sand will get all in your hair and your face, and also the water's extremely salty. I swallowed some, it was awful, but whatever. The other cool thing that I did was also catch a tiny ass crab. I searched this up, it was a sand bubbler crab, and it felt just like Animal Crossing, y'all. It was actually a difficult process because first I had to realize that those crabs existed. They were tiny, they were smaller than like your fingertip, and they are invisible on top of sand, and they move incredibly fast. So it's like catching air. um, but I noticed they existed because there were holes in the sand, and I didn't really think, even though I did know of their existence, I didn't think of catching one yet. But I found an empty water bottle. There was quite a bit of trash on the beach, but there wasn't too much. So finding an empty water bottle is kind of a rare find. Um, I love exploration. Again, I also love scavenging, hunting, especially through dumpsters and just big waste lands of other people's trash. The saying, other people's trash is another man's treasure, and that's literally just me. I love searching through that stuff. I once found 100,000 rupiah banknote that was like super ancient from the 1900s, from the 90s, whatever. And I was able to catch the damn crab. I told my little sister to keep an eye on it because it usually was running around, but then it tried digging itself into the sand and staying still. We even tried making traps for it by digging holes in the sand, but of course it wouldn't go there because it was a genius uh, little crab who knew how to avoid traps. But it stupidly made the mistake of trying to dig itself a hole to escape, and I used that opportunity to catch it. Didn't have my phone, but I forced my parents to take pictures of it, and damn, it's adorable. Uh, I'm gonna make a cringy comparison, but Yamato from Majikoi has a good reason for thinking hermit crabs are cute, and this one was cute. Now, it had a very I don't know, big desire to leave because it immediately tried to go to the bottle cap portion of the bottle, as you can see in this video, if I'm smart enough to put it in the video. And it was a very big sign for me to let it go and not keep it. So that was sad. It went away. Goodbye. Did not even give it a name. So, yeah, whatever. That was the morning. That was the morning of our main day in Bali. The second part is much, much more boring. And this is when the frustration started kind of ramping up. My little sister wanted to go to a place called Love Anchor. It's a marketplace, but for little girly ass trinkets that bore manly men like me. And as proof, my father and my brother. Baru's the most boring shit. So they kind of just left, and instead of exploring the place, they thought there's nothing for us here. And it really was pretty boring. It's just a bunch of necklaces and little tiny trinkets that weren't even interesting. Like every shop basically sold the same fridge magnets or keychains that was just Bali merch. It was very boring, and even more sinful was that we were there for like the entire afternoon because my little sister was trying to find something very specific. I don't know what they're called, like on an arm bangle to put on her arm specifically. They're usually meant for your wrist, but she wanted it for her arm because she wants to be special and cool. But whatever. I didn't follow my brother and my father outside of Love Anchor because they were literally just sitting around. So instead, I was with my mother and my sister going around looking at stuff, and it was actually pretty fun. I know I said it was boring, but I got into it a bit more, and I even bought my own stuff. I have this classic straw hat looking fedora. It's made out of polyester, but it is pretty cool, and it's black, and yeah, whatever, we haggled the price. I don't have to go into every single detail. I bought this cool, intricate looking car keychain as well. And yeah, we just had a fun time talking and looking at stuff. I tried on a few sunglasses. It was great. Now, the thing that I kind of wanted to talk about when it came to Love Anchor was just how much fun I realized having with my mother and my little sister more so than having any kind of activity like walking around with my father or my brother, uh, I'm trans. There you go. Just those little cute conversations and, I don't know, gossiping about little trinkets is more appealing to me than doing exercises with the bros. Anywho, I'm drinking water. After Love Anchor, which we were there for the entire afternoon, my father specifically, wanted to go to a beach club, which is stupid because those are not like family activities. We saw like the entrance to the beach club, and there was literally naked women on beach chairs, just lounging around and being naked except for their bikinis. And some didn't even have that on. Lol. Lamau. My libido throughout this entire trip was actually non-existent. I did not have a male reaction throughout the entire trip. It was weirdly liberating. And I kind of have a good reason for thinking why, which I might come back to. Actually, I'll just mention it now. I've been making and working on a web comic that's NSFW, and I thought it was the hottest thing ever. And it kind of made me asexual, because everything else that I see on the internet now does not compare to the thing that I made at all. And it's not necessarily because it is a superior product, and it is in some ways, and I might get into that webcomic and talk about it in another video. But it's just kind of, I made it, I tailored it specifically for me, so of course I wouldn't think other things are hot. But back to the beach club. Not a family activity whatsoever. I don't know why he thought it was a good idea. Beach club parties are obviously meant for adults trying to get some action in a naked setting on the beach. And my little sister, who was 14, was gonna go there. It was stupid. And what's even more stupid is that we had to walk so damn far to it. It must have been 2 kilometers at least, and I believe it was a 30-minute, maybe even 40-ish minute walk from the car to that place. And not only that, we had to walk there, and then we had to walk back. And I specifically remember my legs definitely were in pain and hurting and not working after those 2 trips. We just went inside the beach club, and we were told, I don't know why we weren't allowed in there. It's possible that we're not we're a family going here, and we have to be over 21 or whatever for like everyone there. I don't know the reason, but it's obvious we weren't allowed in, so we just walked back out, and we had to walk for a while. I hated it. That was literally the end of the second main day, and we only did one fun thing for everyone, which is go to the beach in the morning. So that's great. Actually, I don't know. Whatever, buying souvenirs was okay. The next day, we went to the oh no. Actually, before we went to the airport, we still did something not that fun. We went to the same place as the beach again. We went to the beach the last day, and now we went to the beach again because we forgot to do one thing, which is just go to a place called the Water Blow. The Water Blow is literally just the attraction, the appeal of that place is seeing water hit the rocks below, and that's literally it. And it only happens once every like 8 minutes. It was not that interesting. I mean, it's somewhat visually interesting to see a lot of water just sprout up. It's kind of like a geyser, sort of. And it does kind of sprinkle some water on you if it does get that big. But again, it's kind of a rare occurrence. You have to wait quite a bit for each big wave to come. It wasn't that interesting, and I'm kind of saying that because there's just so many more. Like, Bali is a big resort island. You can do anything. Water sports, look at temples, uh, party, bunch of stuff. We did some boring, benign shit. And you know what? Maybe it was just kind of frustrating because I had those expectations, but they just were not fulfilled. And I did have a few plans, but you know what? It was kind of short. It was just meant to be a short holiday. So, whatever. What's kind of even more infuriating is that we went to Bali instead of where I actually wanted to go, you know, Japan. But because of time constraints, and like during that month, I'm currently preparing to go to another country, the Netherlands. So, squeezing all that in there, going to Japan and then going to the Netherlands, like whatever. We'll just do it after I go to the Netherlands. That's whatever. Let me take a break because the next story is going to be the climax of all the frustration. Alright. I already talked about a bunch of stuff. We're currently on the third day of Bali. We went to the airport and my phone broke. It has the boarding pass for my airplane ticket. Why did it break? I literally have no idea. My currently best theory is I keep taking my phone to the bathroom and it keeps getting wet. Though I've done that many, many times before, and it did not pose a problem until today, which is the worst possible day to have it malfunction because I needed it for my boarding pass. And the second it broke, I got really mad, and it was the first time I shouted, not just in a public place, but at my parents. They're usually mad at me, but I was mad at them. Well, actually, I'm usually mad at them because I'm a rebellious kid. And it really was just a culmination of mixed emotions and multiple and me not and hold on. To explain this better, they basically have this stigma against me for being bad at communicating, which is true. And not only that, I do not have a will to communicate better out of a dislike for interacting with other people in general. Though they obviously think that is not good behavior, so they dog on me for that. And kind of what made me lose it and shout was just them saying, "I can't understand you. You're talking too quietly," which they've done before that day, which only made me repress my anger toward them. And when I did shout, my logic was just, no matter how loud I scream, they're not gonna hear me. So I shouted as loud as I could, and everyone was surprised at how angry I was. But to me, it just made a lot of sense, especially because my phone wasn't working. So it's just, a mixture of all those things. Anywho, It is still broken to this day, and I'm still talking about it. It's been like 3 days since then. Currently, it is getting fixed, and I'm gonna go get it. And I've been living without my phone for a while, and it truly is a kinda liberating moment, I suppose, but also, man, you don't understand how much you've lost until you've lost it. What kind of scares me even more is that I am a paranoid person, and the fact that I didn't plan for the contingency that my phone would have broken right then and there, even though there really was no reason for me to expect it. Like, if it was water damage, then wouldn't have it broken when it was interacting with the water when I was at the beach or something? But no, it was just in the airport, and I didn't do anything I would classify as dangerous toward it, or interact with it physically that would damage it. Like, no, nothing. I took it out of my pocket and it broke. And the fact that that just comes out of nowhere, and I'm a very paranoid person, means that anything could happen, and I could get the rug taken from under my feet at any point in time. My laptop could start breaking all of a sudden, and I don't even know what to do. I'm scared. My heart, it's all gonna go away. Oh well. Whatever. I had to keep going outside for the last couple of days just to buy food. I know, it's unbelievable. I can't rely on convenient food getting services anymore. This is hell, and I'm being challenged. So yeah, phone broke, went back home, had to find a taxi, had to find food, had to do everything without it. And I think the other utterly frustrating thing, this is the third main thing that I want to mention, that out of nowhere, my landlord, let's say, forced me to move my room. Forced me to move from one room to another room in the same building. I thought this was really stupid for 2 reasons. Actually, whatever. The main reason is just I'm only gonna be here for the next 10 days. Like, when I asked her for the reason why, she said the top room is more comfortable. And I always have respect for other people's intelligence. But I'm pretty sure she knows that even if I was moving into the Taj Mahal or whatever, she would be aware that it would completely override whatever comfort the room offers if I have to move there, which is a big process that would take an entire day to do, moving all of the inventory that I have from my old place to my new place. It was a hassle that's not worth it. One that I should have been told a week beforehand, but it was only a day. I had to move in the next day. And I am here right now. She also said that it's comfortable for these reasons, and those reasons being there's no construction noises. That's not true. There are slightly less construction noises. Second of all, it's upstairs. It's like one level above where I was usually, and I was already on the 2nd level, so now I have to travel 2 flights of stairs to get up here if I want to go downstairs, which I guess is an exercise, but that is just annoying. Thirdly, the noise from the construction project doesn't even matter because it is replaced with noises of people just hanging out outside. The new room is right next to the living room where rowdy university students are doing shit that I don't care about, and it leaks into here. I'm not an eavesdropping person, never wanted to be. And, this sucks. Not only that, I can very easily tell that the room has not been used for a very long time. Like, the first time that I looked into it, she invited me. I looked up at the roof, at the ceiling, there's like cobwebs everywhere, so I had to fix that. I also hate spiders. I hate them more than the regular person. Yeah, call me arachnophobic, because I literally am. This place also isn't even cold. Like, the air conditioner's on right now, and it is like the minimum amount of comfortable temperature that I am at. But the place that I've been before, it was just so tailored to my regular temperature that I didn't need to waste any energy or electricity. Speaking of electricity, I already paid electricity for last month for my old room. Now I have to pay electricity again for this month for this room. So what the fuck? I already asked her. She said, I already asked the landlord, the landlady, whatever. She said we'll pay it for you. It's not been paid. And not only that, I'm disabled. I don't have the ability to yet, because my phone doesn't exist. It is currently being fixed. So, any moment now, the electricity's just gonna turn off. It only has like 5 watts left in it, or I don't know what unit of energy it is. I failed physics. So yeah, whatever. I think that's pretty much it for all the frustrating things that happened. It also just kind of, let's go into the feeling. So like, it made me feel, I was all, before all of this frustrating stuff happened, before I even got to Bali, there were ups and downs. It wasn't completely frustrating, but whatever. I was depressed, as I said. I felt completely and utterly worthless. And this kind of only proves it. The fact that I was told to move from that old room to this room. That old room that I've been living for the last 2-3 years, and now I have to stay here for the next only 10 days. Because I'm gonna move out by then. Oh man, I'm thinking like, oh shit. I moved everything up 1 level. Now when we're gonna have to move out, I have to move everything down 2 levels into the car and into a bunch of suitcases. That's gonna suck. But whatever. The reason why I'm feeling worthless is because I assume that it's the new semester, a bunch of new students are gonna be pouring into the dorm, and someone kind of thought, hey, I like this room that's on the 2nd floor. I'm gonna do this one. And she already told the story, well, this kid is gonna move out soon, and she thought it would be better to move me to a floor that's higher so that that guy, the new kid, can move into my old room. And that's obviously a bunch of priorities that set me on the bottom, while the new kid gets a priority above me. And, we could talk about whether that is worth it, whether it truly is a morally positive thing by just sidestepping me, but it still doesn't change the fact that I had to experience a lot of frustration today by moving all of my things and saying goodbye to my old room for the convenience of this new kid coming here. And that made me feel kind of worthless. But whatever, I didn't complain. And even though I did kind of ask her directly if that was the reason, she said, well, someone is going to move in there, but I had to ask directly. When I asked why I had to move, she said that this room was more comfortable. which I obviously did not agree with, but whatever. I keep all my feelings repressed is also another theme, which is kind of why I had that outburst back in the airport. And now I am releasing all of that repressed emotion during this podcast toward my landlady, which, I mean, I guess I wish I told everything that I said in this to her, but here's the thing, I guess, and this kind of goes back to the theme of not liking other people, but I hedgehog's dilemma or whatever. If I said everything truthfully, no one would like me. So there you go. I just have bizarrely negative, angry opinions on a lot of things. But I don't know, on the outside, I just can't act that way all the time. I wouldn't be able to coexist with other people if I was truly honest with myself. And when I was moving, I didn't really have that much repressed frustration at all. That frustration, again, I'm just gonna reinstate what I said at the beginning, that the initial emotion of being angry at having to deal with my phone being broken, having to get it fixed, having to move from one room to another room in the same building, which is just bizarre to me, especially if I only have to stay here for the next 10 days. All of those emotions are gone. They've already gone and went, I suppose, because I've already dealt with it. But even while I was doing those actions, having to deal with them, it's just not anger. It was just dealing with it. It was just neutrality. It was just what life had to throw at me, and I had to deal with it with a smile on my face. And I was just neutral. I think it's because, like, I have goals, and my goals, they used to be creatively expressing myself, or what I was going to do at that time if I wasn't distracted by those things. Like, I don't know, let's say watching anime or making a new video from my main channel, which those things are my actually real goals. The goals shifted to life chore things, and in my brain, life chore things are always okay in service, or like when you replace them, I suppose, because like life chore things are things you can't avoid, and they're expected. Like, you gotta go do your laundry, you gotta go clean your room, and this is just part of those. So even if I get distracted by these things, it doesn't bother me too much, because I'm technically still achieving those goals, even though they're different. But still, I feel like there's a discussion to be had whether or not my phone definitely had to be broken, or if I definitely did need to move my room. It just felt like there were other things at play, or things out of my control, or maybe there were some that were even in my control and I could have avoided. Or if I stomped my foot down, I don't know. I'm just being kinda subservient to life's will, and I'm forced to go through with these things. Speaking of kinda repressed emotions, the webcomic that I'm making, the main character's kind of entire arc is literally just having repressed anxiety, and I did make that webcomic when I was depressed at the beginning of this month. So I guess that's another reason why I'm kind of dealing with it so well, because art to me is a way to explore those feelings, and instead of experiencing media that's about those emotions and stuff, about those themes, instead I'm making it. Instead I am expressing it in a different, in my own way. So no matter how repressed my feelings get or how angry I get at the world, I can create something so that other people will understand me. And the fact that that's a possibility is fine with me, I guess. It kind of gets me going. Alright. I guess that is it for the end of this one. Damn, 35 minutes. If you are here for that long, comment. Wow, that doesn't sound that angry. My family's dead. Thanks for watching. Consume everything. Goodbye.